I don't trust the results of this election. I don't trust the official government story on this. That's different than like, I'm going to use 15 different racial slurs for black people and Jewish people. He banned a bunch of Groyper accounts, or I don't know, bann's not the right word. Took away their blue check, demonetized them, limited their reach, etc. There's a lot to say about this as well. First off, it reeks of Elon's now pissed at these people because they challenged him. That's what it looks like from the outside. Now, maybe that's not the case. I see people defending Elon saying, no, these people doxed people, or they, were pushing CP photos and blah, 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 blah. Maybe all that's true. But really, at the exact same time, these accounts weren't doing that stuff before. It was just when they started fighting with Elon that all of a sudden that this happened. I don't know. And then there's a lot of anti-Semitism. Now, there is anti-Semitism, and then there's anti-Semitism, right? You could say, I think that Jews have a disproportionate influence in our country, and they're pushing Zionism. That's not anti-Semitism. But if you're like, I hate all Jews, they're all evil, they're drinking the blood of children, that's anti-Semitic. There's a difference. Sometimes the line could be blurry. Here's the thing, and I've said this about Elon from the get-go. Elon is not a free speech absolutist. Neither is pretty much anyone. You'd be hard-pressed. How do you define speech? Well, many of our courts have defined speech as not just spoken words from the mouth, but also performance art and things like that. Pornography could be considered a form of speech. Do I think you should be allowed to have pornography? Maybe, maybe not. I would love to see it curtailed on X. I'm disgusted all the time when I'm just scrolling on X and I see pornography or images of people being killed. I think it's shit. And imagine if some kid's 11 years old and they have an X account. But what about like free speech absolutists? You say like, calls to violence, libel, slander, things that are crimes, maybe sexualization of children. Almost all of us would have a line and say, no, that's clearly too far. Then in my imagination, or my thought, you're not an absolutist. Now here's the thing though. I think Elon bought X and did a good thing. And I do think he was worried about the censorship of political opinions online. I do think that's large. But he also bought it as a business opportunity. He wasn't just like, how much should he pay for it? He wasn't just like, I'm just going to sink billions of dollars at a loss. Complete write-off. He's not going to do that. He's going to try to make it work. Because not only would that financially hurt him, but it also would make the purchase meaningless. If X becomes insolvent and collapses and ceases to exist financially and it has to go under, what was the purpose of buying it in the first place? And here's the thing. I've been saying this for years. I remember one of the first times I talked about this was the channel Politically Provoked. Politically Provoked, for those that don't know, was where Andrew Wilson first started streaming. And it was similar to like the Crucible. It was a brand that was primarily on YouTube. And this woman, Brittany, ran it. And they did debates and all of this stuff. And they had their own in-house debaters. And they started to move away from the direction of like Andrew. And they went more towards, I guess for lack of a better word, like Groyper type people. They're on YouTube. And you watch the show and it's just like, N-word this, N-word that, N-word this. Do I think they should be allowed to say that? Yeah. Do I think there should be criminal ramifications for saying that? No. Am I mightily offended where I can't like get sleep at night? No. But I know what the inevitable consequence of that is. You're gonna get banned. YouTube's gonna say, yeah, we don't want that. Sorry. And you can say, that's bullshit. But we all know it. We all know that that's the rule. We know it. We understand that. As a streamer, you know that. You know what you're doing. So when you do it and then they ban you and you go, oh, you knew that's what was the consequence. And I'll be honest, I am not that pissed off about YouTube doing that. Because I do understand that these are businesses. There have to be reasonable limitations where they're going to be like, look, we're selling advertising. We're not going to bring people, like, if YouTube was like, we're going to ban people that are like, after the assassination attempt of Trump, that were like, yay, we should try, someone else should try. Would you blame YouTube for banning those people? You'd be like, that seems to be reasonable. There was just an attempt on the former president and frontrunner for president's life. 2 of them. People calling for more of those. YouTube's like, we're not going to have that. Now, I'm sure there are people out there, but free speech. But you have to understand, as a business, YouTube's going to be like, no. And so the best we can hope is that they draw the line in a reasonable place. I don't think that you should be getting banned, demonetized, shadow banned, whatever, because you're Republican or Democrat. I think that's shit. And that's basically what's happened. You shouldn't be banned for questioning vaccine advocacy with the pandemic, questioning the origins of the pandemic, questioning election integrity. Those shouldn't be bannable offenses. And I think that that's basically where Elon was coming from. When he's talking about the importance of free speech, he's saying you shouldn't be banned because you're Republican, you're Democrat. You're saying, I don't trust the results of this election. I don't trust the official government story on this. That's different than like, I'm going to use 15 different racial slurs for black people and Jewish people. Now, if I was infinitely rich, like Elon, would I just turn and say, whatever, say what you want? I don't know, maybe. It's not about money anymore. But to Elon, it's still going to be about money. And you can't blame him, really. So, I don't know. There are two ways of looking at it. There is the absolutist perspective where it's like, but once Elon's like, if they're going to ban racial slurs against Jewish people and black people, then we're only a stone's throw away from banning people for questioning an invasion of a country they don't like or the origins of a pandemic. Same mentality. But then the other way of looking at it's like, well, does the good outweigh the bad? Do you say, okay, there are certain things that we can't be talking about still on here, but overarchingly, it's way better than Twitter 1.0 was. Otis, thanks for the $2 again. Says promoting a speech platform, follow the rules, right? Yeah, to some extent. And that was always one of my big criticisms with YouTube anyways, and other places. You would get strikes and banned and shadow banned. Sometimes you didn't even know you were getting shadow banned. And other times, like especially YouTube, they'd give you a community guideline strike. They'd say your video violated our community rules on safety or election integrity. And you'd be like, where? It's not like they say at minute 1 hour, 23 minutes. They just say, somewhere in your 4-hour live stream, sorry dude, good luck. So it's hard to follow TOS when you don't know what the TOS is. So anyways, that's sort of how I look with this Elon. I'm not willing to be like, that's it, this platform's done, Elon sold out, blah, 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 because some groypers lost their channel. I will say though, I sympathize with some of the people that lost their check marks, etc., because some of it does seem like rank pettiness. And there was a story on X that they're calling doxing, where this Adrian Dittman character that some people say is Elon Musk, some newspaper or some reporter found out that it's someone from Thailand or something to that effect, that it's not Elon, and this was removed because that's considered doxing because they put an anonymous person's real name. I don't know. It's an interesting question because what if Elon is this Adrian guy? Then he's looking at this story going, well, I know this story's false, and they just falsely smeared this dude saying that this Adrian Dittman guy's him, and it's not him because it's me. So I'm not going to allow this. Yeah, and then there's a question, did Elon personally order it? So I think that the truth's somewhere in between. I think that some of it is pettiness on Elon's point of view, and that he's like, you see people like Jake Shields and like a lot of these groyper type people that are just, everything's the Jews all the time. So you're already like, this isn't helping our advertising. And then they're like, and fuck Elon, he's an idiot, and he hates white people. And then he's like, you know what, fuck these people. But we're going to take a little closer look. Oh, what's that? They were doing some shit that's against TOS? Yeah. Take away their blue check. So if I was one of the people that lost my blue check mark, I could see being pissed off. It's not something that I think, if it's done out of pettiness, is a good thing at all. However, I don't think that it's the end of the world as some people are putting it.